of shower and storm chances throughout the week, perhaps even through the weekend. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Anytime you need us, we're there. Or for the latest forecast, go to CWG.news/latest, and we start warning you that carrying an umbrella this week might be a good idea. Let's see, so generally today was maybe the warmest day of the next week. We slowly trend down with the temperatures, but as you can see, showers, storms, maybe we get a dry day-ish on Thursday. Might be the driest day of our work week, but overall it's cloudy, it's muggy, it's a wetter trend, but it doesn't add up perhaps too much rain overall. Here's the next 48 hours. Let's see, right here, mainly focused in southern New England and New York State. Not too much along the I-95 corridor in the mid-Atlantic, but here's what could get interesting later this week. Does the axis of rain kind of stay along the Appalachians and Blue Ridge and maybe points west of there, or does it start swinging a little bit toward us in the DC, Baltimore, Richmond areas along I-95? So there's a little bit of uncertainty if we maybe get a positioning of a high pressure system giving us onshore flow with moisture off the Atlantic and Chesapeake. That in combination with an upper level low pressure system above this surface high pressure, that could pump in and create more instability. We have surface moisture, maybe a river of moisture coming out of the southeastern United States. So the exact placement of heavier rains later this week remains to be seen. So stay tuned, even though confidence isn't super high. Generally speaking, rains over the next 7 days could add up to a little bit of rain. Let's see, we've got no snow. Greg, thanks for tuning in. And hello, Peter. Thank you, David. Good evening. And Doris, I hope we'll be dry in the weekend. I have a camping trip planned. Have a plan B, just in case. I don't think you need to cancel or postpone things just yet, since the uncertainty I was just talking about of where the heaviest rains as we get later this week into the weekend may set up. It remains to be seen. There's some question marks. So let's get a little bit closer, get a little bit higher confidence with the rain placement for later this weekend. But as it looks now, at least cloudy conditions with some shower chances possible this weekend. So just eyes open and come up with a plan B in the back of your mind that you can act on as we get closer. And we've got Diana, good evening, from Greencastle, Pennsylvania. You had 81 degrees at your house today. Yes, indeed. The mid-Atlantic was well above 80 for all the local airports around DC. And here's the context for the temperatures coming up this week. It stays above average. Maybe 15 degrees above average at times. It is feeling a little bit more like late August, early September. When you add in these dew points, not exactly comfortable. And here's our muggy scale. It's kind of unpleasant, becoming unpleasant this week. We have dew points kind of oscillating in the 60s, generally speaking. And the river of moisture, the atmospheric river that could provide some downpours later this week in the mid-Atlantic, that is part of this. Look at these dew points that really, the purples we don't want to see, but the atmosphere is going to be moist enough for shower storms, maybe some downpours later this week, maybe into this weekend. So stay tuned to CapitalWeatherGang.com. I'm Camden Walker. Thank you for tuning in for these weekly Sunday sunset chats. And here's the setup. We're just between too many systems. It's hard to get away from a stationary front, a broad area of low pressure. We've got an upper level low pressure system that wants to hover near us this week. We've got a surface high pressure system near the northeastern United States that's going to use its clockwise spin at the surface to pump in moisture from the Atlantic and the Chesapeake into the mid-Atlantic and the DC region this week. So we're just locked in. We can't avoid these weather systems. They're not going to move very quickly. And we could see clouds, mugginess, showers, storms through the end of the week, if not the weekend. So stay tuned. Confidence is not super high as we get near the end of the week. We could see heavier rains move along the I-95 corridor, or they could stay along the Blue Ridge and Appalachian chain. All right, we've got Josh, hello from Reston. Thanks for tuning in. Getting dry, Kenny, indeed. We need a little bit of water. I agree with you. We haven't had too much in the previous 7 days. Let me find this for you. It's been a little bit dry, spotty over the last 7 days here with this map. You can see it looks like Charlottesville won the jackpot over the last 7 days. So yes, gardening and farming needs some water recently. I totally agree with you. Let's see, we've got Mike, greetings from College Park. We've got Kenny. Yep, the dryness we're talking about, it has been dry, but luckily no drought to speak of. We're doing pretty darn good east of the Mississippi River. Sweatshirt weather, where are you? No. This is just a dark polo. I finally got out of my summer white uniform with Capital Weather Gang. So Susan, yep, no, I'm still enjoying the mugginess here in the Mid-Atlantic with you. Hello from Catlet Deborah. Mugginess is coming. The weather has been beautiful. I'm glad you enjoyed it, as our awesome streak of weather has now come to an end. Evan, thanks for tuning in from Chevy Chase. Hi Camden, says Rick, when is the first frost and freeze? As my allergies get going, we'll quickly pass the pollen, which maybe the mold is getting to me, and I should have re-upped my allergy medication, but hey, we're doing okay, low across the board, except for that darn mold right there in the moderate range. But let me get to the first frost and freeze. Here's the median date. We could wait until November downtown, and Baltimore may even wait till December 1st. We'll see. And even Charlottesville is a warm urban center in the middle central part of Virginia there, so that could be early November as well. But generally speaking, in the purples and the blues, Bath County may have seen its first frost. Usually on average by now it has, but as you can see near larger bodies of water and urban centers east of town along the Chesapeake Bay, we wait until later October into November as well. So I hope that helps. We're not seeing any frosty, freezy weather on the horizon just yet, but great question. We need to be thinking about that, because by the end of October we could see some chillier air. Let's see, we've got Al Tanner. Thank you so much, you're very kind. I'm glad you enjoy the updates. Misha, will it be good rain for plants this week? I think so. Overall, the flood risk so far is appearing low. Amounts over the next 7 days could add up to over an inch in much of the Mid-Atlantic. And here's the next 48 hours, not too much in the Mid-Atlantic. So the point I want to drive home is that it's not going to all fall in one day, though near the end of the week is what's favored to be slightly heavier, steadier rain as well. And here's the kind of the characteristic of the rain you're after. It's kind of spotty, it's showers, it's storms. Don't take this as a literal map, but it shows you the nature of kind of hard to predict exactly where and when some of these rains might fall this week. But this simulated radar precipitation map over the next 6.5 days, it runs very quickly, but it's supposed to show you kind of the spotted nature of the rains. And there's a batch near the end of the week and the weekend that we want to watch offshore move toward us. It's possible. So yes, generally good for plants. Clouds and fog, generally good for plants that are craving some water recently, and that could be in the forecast for this upcoming week as well. Let's see, we've got radar right now, generally behaving. If you're outdoors and have outdoor plans tonight, unless you're along the Blue Ridge and maybe spine of the Appalachians, you're doing pretty okay, just a couple showers and storms. And here it is as I take more questions and comments. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks for tuning in for these weekly Sunday sunset chats, these Q&As. Latest forecast at CWG.news/latest by Greg Porter. And as you can see, it is going to be cloudy, muggy, generally mild, but chances for showers and storms all week. You're really going to want to carry that small umbrella around just in case. All right, indigo flooding risk slightly possible later this week at the end of the week, but not worth planning around or having anxiety about just yet. There are a lot of question marks at the end of the week if we see some heavy rain at all. Mike, not a bad day in the valley, not too humid. I'm very jealous. Very muggy here. I can't believe I turned in my white Capital Weather uniform and went to the fall like and winter black. Luckily it's still a polo shirt, but man, it is warm and muggy. Over 80 degrees for high temperatures at all 3 DC airports today. Yes, David, I changed my hat too to my winter cooler season hat. Let's see, this is not the forecast of your heart's desire, Lisa. I am so sorry. Indeed, not so awesome. Hard to say many good things, except we could use a little bit of rain, so that's good. Hello from Chantilly, Joe. Thanks for tuning in. Hello from Potomac, Sherry. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. And Tropics, Brad. Great question. Let's pivot to the tropics. I've got plenty to talk about with you. So here we go. First off, we've got a fairly active Atlantic. Could we see more activity develop with that near the Bahamas, that the disturbance? Yes, slight chance. Sam is headed out to sea and maybe near Iceland by the end of the week. So that is good news. It's heading away from land. And of course, this Oman, this is very interesting history being made with CWG.news/tropics. Oman could see 2 years worth of rain in maybe under 24 hours. So it's quite dramatic. Not in the Atlantic basin that we're most concerned about, of course, but still very remarkable tropical activity there in near the Persian Gulf. So that's just want to flag that for you. You might find that interesting. And of course, here are the names. We have run all the way down to the list in Wanda. That's our next named storm. Perhaps the system off the Bahamas with a slight chance of development over the next 5 days. Maybe that becomes Wanda, but not a high likelihood just yet. And let me show you the next list of names. We have the World Meteorological Organization standby list of names that we would go to Adria as the next name on the standby list when we hit Wanda and cross that off the list if Wanda does develop before November 30th, which is the typical end of hurricane season. Though we do want to get a little bit further past mid-October here, because that is typically a secondary peak in activity of hurricane season as well. So there you are, your tropical update. Let me give you a sneak peek of Saturday. Yes, we could see some showers and storms continue into the weekend, but at least it's still mild. Yes, still a little bit sticky, a little bit unpleasant, especially for October. So keep that in mind. So Robin, only a slight risk of the tropical disturbance in the Atlantic developing into Wanda. Hope that helps. And Misha, Baltimore is just warmer, and it's got that body of water. The inner harbor keeps it warm downtown, Misha. That's why when you're looking at these median dates of first freeze of the season, that's why Baltimore is a little later. The water encompassed by Baltimore is a little bit broader, deeper, larger than the more slender Potomac River running through the downtown DC area. So I hope that helps. And we've got Michael, good to see you. Where is fall? I know, might be a ways out. We might have to get through this next weekend before fall is back on the map. But here, let me tease you with fall foliage. You have to go well northwest of town, but it's there. And here is just keeping a positive outlook if you're looking for fall. It will happen. We will see foliage eventually develop in the mid-Atlantic and the DC area. It might take until early November this year, but we will see it. So keep that in mind. I hope that helps. Chris, severe weather other than flooding, a slight risk of flooding later this week, perhaps. Lots of question marks, a very, very low likelihood, but worth staying tuned to capitalweathergang.com. No severe weather expected this week other than that slight flooding risk later this week, flooding threat. So great question, Chris. Doris, the rain on Monday kind of favored for afternoon, but I encourage you to read Greg Porter, who researched all the latest data for you. He's at CWG.news/latest there, the PM update, generally telling you to tote a small umbrella around, not just tomorrow, but I would recommend for the entire week. So keep that in mind. It is kind of mild, muggy, showers and storms, cloudy, pretty moist, with hard to pin down the timing and amounts of rain and shower timings and chances this week. But overall, it's going to be hard to stay completely dry. Maybe we do Thursday, maybe. But again, at the end of the week, the confidence goes down further toward kind of low medium category. We'll have to see how things look as we get closer. It's just hard to map out all these weather systems with much confidence that we have just hanging around our region this week. This is kind of the Tuesday evening map. We have a trough of low pressure, a broader area of low pressure, a stationary front hanging out in the region, a surface high pressure over the northeastern United States trying to pump in surface moisture off of the Atlantic and Chesapeake toward us. And then at the upper levels, not pictured here, as they say in the yearbook photography business, not pictured here, we have an upper level low pressure system that's kind of meandering near us. It's kind of hovering over the northeastern United States, and it kind of wants to bug us for much of this week. It's just hard to pin down the exact trajectory and paths. So thank you for your patience as we watch this carefully this week at capitalweathergang.com. But bets, if you are a betting person, I would bet on showers and storms all week, and take that umbrella with you. Yep. Let's see, we've got it's raining now in West Virginia, Hedgeville, Kenny. Let's check radar really quick. Yep, you are under one of those showers, kind of sticking along I-81 and points west. So you hopefully have an umbrella on hand and you're doing okay, and could use the rain probably there, Kenny. So that's great. Diana, you have a friend in Fairbanks, got snow today. Thank you for sharing that. We could use some of that cool thoughts as we have this muggy, warm air all week. Here is the difference from normal, the difference from average high temperatures. 5 to 15 degrees above average all week this week. That's what this red indicates. So we are going to feel more like early September at times, not going to feel seasonably appropriate. Some of you like the warmer weather, that's fine. Enjoy this. It's kind of a redux, a return to September conditions. So yes, the temperature differences from average are going to be 5 to 15 above normal, above average this upcoming week. So keep that in mind. And here's your forecast at a glance. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Latest forecast by Greg Porter at CWG.news/latest. And Eric, thanks for tuning in. And we've got Nunzio. We need good Halloween weather. It might get cooler by the end of the month, luckily. So keep that in mind. Fingers crossed. Typically does, but that's what we kind of are forecasting in our October outlook that we released on CapitalWeatherGang.com several days ago. And David, yes indeed, lots of low pressure systems around this week to kind of bother us and keep our weather unstable and slightly hard to predict, especially near the end of this week. Doris, you're most welcome. And Lori just planted winter vegetables. First hard frost coming, not on the horizon, but I'm happy to talk climatology with you. Let's go down here to the map of first frost, the median average date of first freeze or frost of the season. And you can see it is earlier west of I-81, later along I-95, and points eastward toward the Chesapeake Bay. So if you are near a larger body of water or a downtown urban center, you could have a first freeze date of early November, which happens to coincide not so funnily with the average peak dates for fall foliage in the mid-Atlantic DC area as well. Currently though, not seeing too much. You have to go well west and northwest of town to see some, maybe around Elkins, West Virginia, you could see some decent color, but just that little sliver there on the highest points of the Appalachian chain. So keep that in mind. Hope that helped, Lori. Great question. So how unusual is it to see dew points 65 degrees or above, as we might see this week? About 15% of the time only in this part of October do we see it this muggy, this humid feeling. So keep that in mind. It's pretty unusual to feel this muggy, and the difference from average this week will be notable. 5 to 15 degrees above average all week. We are going to be really warm. It will feel mild without too much sunshine, like not quite as hot like late summer might feel, but it is unusual. It is above average. So when you're looking at these temperatures, yes, tomorrow might be the warmest kind of time frame of the upcoming week, but it is unusual even to see 75 degrees this time of year as we get toward the end of the week. So keep that in mind. All right, I have about 3 more minutes on the air. Let me know if you have any last questions or comments. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Let's see, I have a few more things I haven't shown you. Dew points this week. The humid feeling in the air is going to be there with dew points in the 60s. It is going to be kind of becoming unpleasant, if not full on unpleasant. Hopefully we see dew points stay below 70 degrees. I think that's possible, but this kind of atmospheric river of moisture coming out of the southeastern United States is going to feed into our bands of rain, our periodic shower storms, and maybe some downpours at the end of the week. So keep that in mind. It won't feel very comfortable. That dry, refreshing air is going to be a memory. Here are the fronts and the situation with the rain on at least Tuesday night. A quick snapshot. We just have so many weather systems hanging around us all week. We can't shake them. We're going to stay unstable, cloudy, showers, storms are possible, maybe some downpours by the end of the week. So just keep that in mind. Tote that umbrella. It's kind of patchwork here of rain throughout the next 6.5 days. Boston Marathon, October 11th, Daniel. I will try and get back to you on that. So that's about a week away. Let's look at I'll do an outlook for you over the next week. So next work week, temperatures, even in Boston, have a high likelihood of being above average for October 11th. So you don't have to worry about wearing all those insulated layers for the Boston Marathon. And at least in the DC area, our average will be going down. Just for context, this benchmark, when you're looking at like near certainty of above average temperatures, it's not too hot this time of year, at least. It is 72 degrees. So could we be upper 70s, maybe near 80 degrees in the mid-Atlantic, and maybe near 70 in Boston? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So keep that in mind for context. And the precipitation, it is, for at least running, good news to have a below average chance of precipitation. Probability will be for below average precipitation next week, even in the Boston area. So keep that in mind. I hope that helps. Lori, thank you very much for tuning in. That's most kind. And Daniel, you're most welcome. And I'm not sure about the color condition quality this year, Kenny. That's a great question. But let me go out on, before I sign off, on just showing you the average dates of peak foliage color. It might have to be late October, early November for the I-95 corridor this year. I think having kind of some dry conditions nearer the time of color change is decent for producing decent color. So I hope I'm right from my research in years past. I think we'll be okay. I'm not going to overpromise and say they'll be brilliant this year, but we got to get some cooler weather first. One frost will help accelerate the color development as well. So keep that in mind. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in on these weekly Sunday Sunset Chats. I'm Camden Walker signing off in a moment, and I'll see you about 10 minutes earlier next week on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. And I hope you're enjoying these shorter and shorter days as best you can. I guess the spin positive of some of this seasonably warm, late summer-ish type weather is that we can enjoy these darker evenings without bundling up. So far, early October is off to a warm start. It might stay that way as cooler air maybe works its way in by the end of October, so keep that in mind as well. Take care for now, and anytime you need us, we're at capitalweathergang.com. Have a safe